Okay, so I don't really have any particular topic or, anything to, I don't have any notes, I don't have any questions, anything like that. Today I kind of just wanted to talk about really my day today, I guess. So, really, really good day today, actually. So I'll kind of go over like the projects that I've been working on because two of those had absolute massive milestones today that we hit. So, really, really cool day today for me. And kind of the point of this was just documenting it really so I can go back and look at it later. So, the main project that I've been working on is predictive analytics for loan outcomes. Um, don't want to, I can't talk about it too much, but, essentially, if you can predict the outcome of mortgage loans accurately, you can make a lot of money off of that for, as a firm. So, we have an asset based financing wing of our firm. And back in May or March, April, around then, beginning of the year, um, I was kind of onboarded onto this project, started getting, context into what they were doing. And since then, I've been working on developing a machine learning model for, predicting the outcome of these loans. It's a really, really cool project. I've really enjoyed it. Everybody on the team is super helpful. Um, which is not necessarily always the case. I think that a lot of times, especially if you have like analysts and, people whose kind of job it is to do that, if you can automate kind of a lot of what they do, or, enhance it or kind of do it better, really, as bad as that is to say, um, they don't necessarily like that. And they also have the domain expertise, which I don't have because my, expertise and my background is analytics and math and machine learning and computer science and all of that. It's not finance. So being able to kind of my first like big project at the firm, being able to work with a team like that were all super willing to help. Not at first, all of them, but I think kind of once they saw the potential and then they saw how it was going to relate to like what they already do in terms of not replacing them, they got much more on board. So um, that's kind of the gist there. Uh, so I'll talk about the model. So we have a binary classifier. It's a multi-stage model. So the first level binary classifier basically cure default, is a loan going to, um, like is it going to remain healthy or is it going to go into foreclosure basically? Like, I mean, if you can predict that, then that's that's like the whole name of the game really. um, Beyond that, so stage one is where is it going to end up. Stage two is the timeline. So if we can predict the timeline, how long is it going to take, how long is the loan going to be on our books, that is kind of how we do our you know IRR calculations. And then we can figure out, okay, well, if we buy, um, we can figure out kind of what return we're going to need to get on a certain loan. And, obviously that determines a whole host of other factors. So that was kind of the main model there. The other cool thing is we're algorithmically tuning the hyperparameters of the model. So it's a decision tree. It's a gradient boosted decision tree model, and we're algorithmically tuning the hyperparameters to maximize performance, which is really really cool. Being able to set that up. So a lot of like ingenuity and creativity there, which was, a lot of fun to work with. So today we had our investment committee meeting to, excuse me, sorry. So we had our investment committee meeting. It was, all the super, super high up people at the firm, head of asset based financing, chief risk officer, uh, COO, CEO, they were all there, and then me. And it's crazy because I'm presenting this work that I've done, and I have to present it to all these people who I really have no business like even being in the room with. And that's kind of what's cool about our firm is if you really add value, you can be in the room with these guys. It doesn't matter, what level you're at, what your title is. If you're adding value, they're very, very open to, you kind of being in there and contributing, which that would not be the case at other firms. So really, really cool opportunity. And, I think that we maximized it. So today was kind of the meeting to officially unveil the plans and put the model into place. We're not quite to production, but we're basically there, which is really, really cool. The other thing is like this was a 2-year project. I think if you went to another firm and asked people to do this and how long it would take, they would tell you 2 years. We were able to do it in, what has it been, 5 or 6 months now, which is, really, really impressive for me. Like I impress myself. I keep saying we, and I don't really I hate coming off like this, but it was me. Like it was almost entirely me that did this. I had a little bit of help with people helping me with, sourcing data and storage and compression and, things like that. But a couple things involving like speed optimization, things like that. But for the most, like the model architecture and everything behind that was entirely me, which is, I don't say that to, I say that for no other reason other than like I'm really proud of myself for being able to do that. And it's really cool to have started this for, so long ago and now be at the point, and, not so long ago, but a few months ago, and now be at the point of we're about to deploy this. All of these guys who have been doing this for, 40 years, whose job it is to like sniff out, BS like that. They're all in on this project too. So it's, it's a really cool feeling to kind of have that validation and that confirmation of like, these guys don't care. Like this isn't to be nice to me. It's to, it's like the only reason these people are even giving me their time is because they see potential in it and they, like they're believers in it, which is just such a cool position to be in because it really, really, like it's a meritocracy and it really speaks to, the ability that I have. And it's just a cool moment. So the head of asset-based financing is, I had to present the entire, like the performance of the model, how we set it up, the whole thing. And they are developing an entire product behind this. So, that we're going to externally offer to clients and it's going to be an entirely new source of revenue for the firm. So being able to pull that off at 25 after only being with the firm for 5 months in my first year out of college it's a cool moment for my career. I think that it sets me on a really nice, really good trajectory to be able to achieve a lot of things that I want to do. And yeah, so I kind of wanted to get on here and just talk about that a little bit. So yeah, I mean, really just that was kind of the majority of my day today, which was really, really cool. So the other big thing that happened today was we are also develop. I say we because it is our team who I'm a representative of, but it's me doing it really. So we're building we're predicting excess returns for mortgage-backed securities benchmarked against U.S. Treasuries. So if we can figure out which months ahead of time are going to have excess returns against mortgage-backed securities, if we can figure out ahead of time which months are going to mortgage-backed securities are going to outperform treasuries, then we will overweight our portfolio to mortgage-backed securities and reap the benefits of, the excess returns, obviously. So, our model is not at the point yet where I would feel comfortable with like full deployment. The performance isn't there, but we still kind of submitted a prediction today, which, was just super, super cool to kind of be at that point where, we've kind of gotten to the point where the asset-based financing people, so our firm is like very, very fundamental, and all of this quantitative stuff, all the predictive analytics, advanced data science and all of that is very, very new to them, to everybody in the firm. And so getting to the point where, we sold the asset-based financing guys on it and we're able to complete our project and like get through our project, and we're almost at the finish, like we're basically at the finish line there. So kind of conquered that area of the firm where, we're about to turn it on, and all the revenue for the entire portion of the firm is going to now flow through this model that I built, which is crazy. The next one is the securitized group. So, kind of just like knocking them down one by one and slowly but surely transforming the firm into more of a, taking a quantitative approach, which is really, really, really cool. It's really exciting. But yeah, so today, like I said, the model is not necessarily where, I would feel comfortable calling it full deployment and just blindly listening to it. And I don't have full faith in the predictions yet. The performance metrics, it would be stupid to where we're at now. But, I think it's kind of a good starting point to get predictions that we call them they're of low confidence, but just to kind of get people to start thinking of like, this is how we're going to do it. This is, what we're thinking. It was a cool moment to like publicize a model prediction. So, that was really, really cool to be able to see. The other thing that's been really cool is having to communicate it with all these people. Like, I'm a math guy, computer science, like, all of that. And, my boss, who's like kind of the other half of my team, math PhD, super, super smart guy. I think that people like that don't necessarily communicate their work or their ideas or their value or their worth very well. And I think that that's actually something that I'm also very, very proud of. Is I think that the reason that we've been able to get this far is, one, because we do really good work and it makes sense, and like there's merit behind it and it stands up to scrutiny. The second is the ability to communicate it to people who have no background in any of the stuff that we're doing. They have no background in math. They have no background in machine learning. Most of them can't code. So it's very, I think it's a testament to our communication skills that we have been able to get this many people on board. And, I've kind of developed a rhythm and a technique and just a routine of, okay, here's how I translate, outputs from a model that I run in Python to, okay, I'm going to put it in a deck, and it's going to be in, formatted in the same way that we'll do like client pitch book. So it's very financy. So these guys, like, it looks like something that these guys are used to reading. And, we're going to do graphs, and we're going to do colors, and we're going to do, different like size font. Like it sounds kind of juvenile and demeaning. That's not necessarily the way that I mean it. Cause like, I wouldn't, if somebody just handed me a paragraph or a whole, piece of paper, that was just straight words. Like, I think it's kind of just common sense. Like, people want to see things that are visually appealing and just like easy to read and easy to communicate it. And I think that has been a massive, massive advantage for us in terms of like the progress that we've been able to make with, all these different groups of people. So, so we submitted our prediction to the PMs and the traders, in the securitized group, which, we'll kind of see where it goes. And I was very, very, like, I think kind of where we're at with that model is I think the performance right now is definitely being overstated, which, is kind of on me. There were a couple things that, I kind of maybe misinterpreted, or just, I definitely didn't misrepresent anything on purpose. I think that I think that I might not have. I probably definitely didn't like tamper expectations accordingly, to where I think like people kind of believe in it too much for where it is right now. But and that would be a massive problem if I didn't see a route forward. But I think that, we're going to be able to catch up to where they're at. And, everything that we've given them is, hey, this is of low confidence. I do not feel comfortable putting money behind this right now. Like, so we've been very, very clear. I think that I just think that it got oversold slightly for where it's at right now. So they're kind of, I think for me it's more of a like, here's the potential to do it, and for them it's more of a like, we're already there type of thing, which is fine. Like, there's always, miscommunications like that, and if I didn't see a way to bridge the gap, that would be a big issue. But we're gonna be able to meet in the middle, and so I'm not worried about that part. But it was cool to kind of to submit the prediction and publicize it, and it's just really, really cool. We kind of got this group on board. Now we're going to the next one, and we're just gonna keep kind of knocking them down, and it'll be really, really cool. The asset-based financing group, I think there's a lot of potential with both of them, really. The asset-based financing would be really, really cool, because kind of my plan is to start a kind of a hedge fund area of that, where we can start, levering what we're doing there. And like three or four other people have had that same thought independently, where like, if we have the capability to do that, it'd be dumb to not lever it a little bit. So that's really, really exciting that we're going to be able to do that. So yeah, I mean, that's kind of the overall gist of the two projects. I guess I could talk about a little bit what the excess returns one is. It's a lot of, momentum and mean reversion and linear regression stuff there. But then there's also decision trees and gradient descent boost things there too. So it's really kind of a really broad mix of different things. And, we kind of have three different levers that we can pull in terms of increasing performance for that model. It's, we have having a wider scope of data, like just more things that are going to give us an accurate depiction of like what the market's going to do. Then we can kind of tweak our feature engineering and like what we're doing to the data, and are we really getting all the information out of the data. And the third one is kind of a whole different category on its own. But if we can take just the index that we're trying to model itself and, figure out if we can predict that just with the model itself, like that input, and then, we can pass that into a multivariate model or however we want to do it, that would be really, really, really cool. Like that's an area that I'm very, very interested in. But then also, those other two we would be dumb not to explore. So, lot of really, really exciting stuff going on there. So yeah, I mean that's kind of the update of where we're at in those two projects. One of them is not stalled out, but like we're kind of just waiting on. I mean, really, we're waiting on like production level data to run it through and kind of put the nail in the coffin in terms of fine tuning the model as far as performance goes, and then we can start evaluating loans, and we'll be in business. So really, really exciting. And then the other one, I think we're just off to a great start. So really cool spot to be in. I know this was kind of a different format. It doesn't not that it matters. Nobody watches this. So yeah, just kind of wanted to document my day today because it was great. I think that it was really a, not that it like feels like it right now, but I just logically looking at it, I'm like, today is kind of a big moment where we had this meeting, we released a prediction, like publicized it to the firm. So it was just, a couple different things happened today where it's really, really, like today's just a good day to document and remember, I think. So that was kind of the philosophy behind this. But yeah, I mean, I guess, we'll kind of see what happens with it going forward. And I'll definitely keep updating this. So I think we're in a good spot. So